Hello, welcome to Time to Come Alive. My name is Valerie and I am your host. I'm the executive coach and provide this opportunity because I want to have you listen and experience amazing human beings that are here because they've come to life in some area of their own lives, or they're finding their way there like most of us are. And this opportunity and these conversations allow all of us to be even more conscious as human beings. They allow us to be more connected with each other. And they also, because we're connected and we're conscious, we have the opportunity to create things that are creative and beyond our wildest imagination. So I'm really excited to bring you a really good friend of mine on today's show. His name is Felipe Ferreira from Brazil. And in just a moment, I'll introduce him more formally. But I want to also start off by preparing us for how to listen to this conversation. And the way we do that is exercise. What I invite you all to do is to sit in your chair, or if you're standing, to make sure that you're standing straight and find your grounding, find your center so you can really relax in whatever position you're in. Take a couple of deep breaths, nice centering breath, and allow that breath to travel through your whole body, relaxing you. I also invite you to close your eyes if it's appropriate for where you are. And if not, just soften your gaze so that you can really live during this time together. And I want you to think about your inspiration, the things that inspire you. When you look around your life, around your space, and the relationships that you have, think about the people that you care for, or the people that have had you look at something in a different way. Consider where they became inspired. What inherently is in the space and how it was created or designed or built that infused inspiration. I want you to breathe in the inspiration that you're getting from those places, those people, the experiences in your life. And as you focus on that and what inspires you, consider that when you're inspired, you create a space, create the opportunity for others around you to access their own inspiration. Take another couple of deep breaths. And finally, I want you to consider ways in which you can meet your inspiration. You can find more meaningful, more intentional ways to seek inspiration from others, or surround yourself with things that you know will inspire you on purpose. So you're constantly nurturing and growing your own inspiration so that you are able to then serve others. Take a nice final breath there. And whenever you're ready, you may refocus or open your eyes. All right, welcome back, everybody. Now, one of the reasons that I focused on service is because this soul that I have the fortune of knowing for, I believe, more than 5 years now. Felipe and I have worked together. We started our friendship when I worked for Hyatt Hotels as well, and I was the director for the Latin America region when it came to learning. And Felipe's role as a learning manager in the hotels he worked in was pivotal for me to be able to do what I needed to do. And Felipe, I have to say, has been one of the most eager, enthusiastic, willing positive forces of nature that I've ever had the privilege of working with. I didn't doubt in this, I never doubted in a second that if I needed something to get done, if I needed feedback on something, if I needed someone to give me a hand, that I could reach out to Felipe and he would absolutely say yes or find a way to make it work. And that hasn't changed at all. So it wasn't even the fact that I was working in an organization where that was my job. This is literally this man. This is who he is. And I couldn't be more thrilled to be his friend. And I want to have you introduce yourself, Felipe, so that others can hear who you are and what you're about. So tell us just a little bit about yourself. Welcome.
So, hi everyone. Bom dia, pessoal. Thank you for being here with me and for giving me your time. Super obrigado. So yes, I'm Felipe. I'm 31 years old. I'm originally from São Paulo, Brazil. And for the past 4 years, I've been living in Rio de Janeiro, which is, well, whatever you might think, whatever you might dream about a beautiful place. Yes, that's where I am right now. Yeah, so I've started my career in hospitality exactly 11 years ago. It was my anniversary yesterday. So yes, 11 years ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And before I came to Hyatt, I started my career at a language school. I used to be a student there, and then they needed a person to help the students on the lab, to help the students to prepare the exercises and everything. So I was invited to work with them. Then I became a teacher there. I taught little kids English. And I also spent a few months in Disney World in Orlando. And that was my big, like breakout, my big first big hospitality company. And I'm sure these experiences were very important for me to bring me to the company that I'm in today and to do what I do. It wasn't until 2013 that I had my first opportunity to work with learning and development. I was invited to be part of an opening team in Costa Rica, and that was one very important experience in my life, because I not only found out what I wanted to do for the following years, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, which is working with learning and development, but also to start discovering things about me and the way that I wanted to live my life, which is the Pura Vida way of life. That idea really resonated with me. So yes, I don't know if I answered the question, but yeah, that's pretty much right now.
That's wonderful. It was perfect. And I have to say, I think you borrowed the whole Pura Vida lifestyle from Costa Rica.
I did. That's something really that I have a big picture in my room with those words, in my bedroom with those words, because I think it's a philosophy that everyone should know.
Well, for those that don't know what the Pura Vida philosophy is, tell us about it and what does that look like in your own life?
Well, whenever I hadn't heard about it until I got there. And when I first got in contact with them, for example, Pura Vida would be pure life, right? So, how are you, Valerie? Well, I'm Pura Vida. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling awesome. I'm feeling balanced. So, how was your event last night, Valerie? Oh, that was Pura Vida. I mean, that was great. That was positive, right? And there's something about being connected to the higher people upstairs or with the nature that I really found out it nurtures me in a very important way. I even have my Pura Vida mug. My cousins came to Rio, to my house, to spend a few days with me, and they know I like it so much that they customized the mug for me. So it's really in my life pretty much every day.
Excellent. So what, because it's one thing to say it, right? Pura vida. And I've been to Costa Rica, and yeah, it's something that is said fairly often as the greeting, kind of like, hi, how are you? Right? So it becomes kind of transactional, I think, at times. What do you do, Felipe, though, to actually nurture that pura vida philosophy so that it actually is an action in different areas of your life?
I think Pura Vida is really related to being kind. And we might sound cliche a couple of times, or even a couple of my sentences might sound or come off as cliches, but I do believe in them. And we have a saying here in Brazil and in Rio, especially from here, that says, kindness generates kindness.
Gentileza,
And
gera gentileza.
exactly, good one. Yes.
You gave me
So
a magnet that has that on it.
exactly. I truly believe in that. And by being kind, um, just saying really a very good morning, or to being polite and the little actions like to open a door or to ask about someone's day, like this little things. I think uh, this is pura vida for me. This is, like being connected, being open, and to try to find, of course, I have my lows. We all have our ups and downs. But between that and I love being on my 30s right now. I don't know why, but I feel that after a couple of years, you kind of start to understand how life goes, and you worry less about a couple of things. You worry more about others because it's a different point in your life. But between those ups and downs, to be connected with these kind of ideas like the pura vida, that kindness generates kindness, or to try to perform like little actions that impact people in a very helpful or positive way. That's really what makes me come alive.
I love that. And I can see it. I even hear it when you talk about it. You had an experience recently when you traveled to the States. And you and I had a really wonderful conversation on that trip. So would you mind sharing with others what was that trip about and why was it so meaningful to you?
Yeah, so I was on vacation, and we've been talking for a while now, right? For, I would say, for the last year and a half, 2 years, we've been talking about finding our purpose, or ways, resources, tools to have a more mindful life. And I've been asking me a lot of questions. And when I was there, that was like late February, mid March. And when I got to DC, I went to Chicago and to Washington DC to see a couple of friends. And when I got out from the plane, I was getting the transfer to my hotel in DC. And then I don't know, I feel whenever I'm in a different place or in a different country, I love observing the lightening of the place, how people behave, how they interact. And I was just like there on the van, just getting to my hotel. And then I started to question myself, like, what am I here for? You know? And I finally got the answer. So I found my purpose, and it feels so good. So the answer that I got inside my head or my inside was, I'm really here to help, to connect people and to help them thrive, you know. And my relationships, my daily routine, my job allows me to connect different people and to help them thrive. Because if like we're all in this together, and we must move forward. We must not move backwards. So if we go together, it's gonna be easier for everyone. And if I can touch people's lives, or if I can do like little things that will help them thrive, or promote partnership from those kind of things, yes, that's a score. I'm gonna be happy, and I'm gonna sleep, like happy.
Now, people might hear this and think, okay, so I have to go to vacation to the United States. I have to go to sea and sit in a van and be enlightened by my purpose. But I don't think people realize just how much work you've put into discovering what makes you come to life, Felipe. And I'd love for you to share what some of the work that you did and what was some of the most impactful work that you found gave you that ability.
So I remember an exercise that I learned that we did it, and I was asked to think about like three words that I wanted to be. And this I guess was the really very first time that I thought about it, and that was a very important starting point for me. So I did some thinking, and I decided that I wanted to be healthy, and I wanted to be curious. You know, so the more I wanted to be healthy, or curious, I was trying, like to plan activities that led me to those goals. So on the year that I decided that I wanted to be healthy, I participated on a swimming competition in the sea, and that was the most challenging thing that I have ever done. It was just like 1.5 miles, like 1 kilometer, but it was such a psychological experience, and I had to deal with myself. I had to talk to myself to reach that goal, and I felt so much stronger after that activity. And I'm not saying that I eat healthy every day, or that I wake up every day at 5 in the morning to run. No, I don't. But like, I if it's healthy for me to be with my friends having a burger on a Friday night, I'll do it. It's related to being healthy or being curious, like trying to read inspirational stories, or trying to learn a bit more about the things that I don't understand. So I discovered a number of podcasts right now here in Brazil, that they talk about politics, for example. And I'm not, I don't like it very much, but it's important for me to be connected and to be aware, to understand my society, right? So if I'm not, like willing to be in front of the news, or watch TV or see this kind of stuff, let me hear my podcast while I have breakfast, So yeah, so I'm being curious, and I'm trying to find tools or these little things that help me doing that on my daily basis. And it's a lot of thinking as well. So the last thing that I would share is that I deal with people every day. Like for the majority of my hours, I'm surrounded by people. And it might be tiring. At points, it might be tiring. But I recharge. I reconnect with myself. So at least once a week. I live alone. And at least once a week, I take some time for myself to watch the TV shows that I like, or to listen to the music that I love. Sometimes I even get embarrassed. The neighbors might think that I'm crazy because I sing my heart out, I just be with myself. And I discovered in the past few years that it's amazing to be with yourself for a while. I love being with people, but being with myself, living alone has taught me that. And it really makes me feel really good.
You say something that's really important that I want to emphasize for others. And that's the notion that you obviously give a lot, right? If your purpose is to connect with people and to help them thrive, that requires you give a lot of energy, that you give a lot of your time, that you give a lot of your attention. And what I think is fascinating is the idea that most people, a lot of you that spend time giving, whether that's in the job, whether that's in the family, whether that's in some area of their life, that especially when they're giving drains them, right? It depletes the energy. What I love about what you said, Felipe, is that you are mindfully and intentionally reconnecting and recharging with yourself. And that's something that I think people take for granted. You know, it often comes up that people want work-life balance, right? They want to feel more balanced in their life. And what's interesting is that we don't consider that everybody has the same 24 hours. Everybody has the same 7 days in a week. Everybody has the same 30 plus days in a month. That's never going to change. So the amount of time that we work with for any single soul on this planet doesn't change. What changes, and it sounds like for you, is how much you take in so that you're able to give out even more, right? That you're literally feeding your soul whatever Netflix binge show you're watching, or whatever song you sing, or whatever activity that you're doing, and that gives you the ability to give more to others. Does that resonate for you?
Yeah, sure. And it's like a plant, right? We gotta give water, you know, so the plant can grow.
Yes.
And that's what I think it's important for us to do. Especially if we are willing to share and to provide and to give to people, right?
Yeah.
So I cannot give what I don't have. So if I find some time to recharge or to refill myself with those ideas or those sentences, affirmations that might be helpful for others, why not?
Absolutely. Now, you obviously work hard at this, right? When I say work hard, I shouldn't say you work hard, but that you spend time, you invest time to nurture this in yourself. Where does all that come from? What gives you what inspires you to do that? To focus on yourself? Where does that come from?
Well, I think sometimes, well, I do a lot of thinking and I talk to myself a bit more than I wanted to, you know, but we, you know, like we talk a lot between here and here.
Yep.
There's dialogue. And, but sometimes it's kind of hard to find the answers on your own. So I started thinking, so why not finding inspirational stories that might help me in doing that, you know? So, well, I'm a slow reader, but I've been trying to read a bit more this year, for example. And to listen, to read, I read like Giselle's Bundchen memoir. And now I'm reading Michelle Obama's memoir. So I try to find like inspirational people, and I think like, what can I learn from them? So, and it's also related to an idea that I've been in contact with, which is accountability. You know, as you said, we all have like the same 24 hours, but when people, well, look at me, or when we look at, not that I'm Giselle or Michelle or even Mr. Obama, I'm not them, but when we look to these kind of people, we think, oh no, but they were lucky. And you cannot say they were only lucky. They worked hard to get where they are. And to listen to these kind of stories inspire me to find my own tools or to organize my ideas in order to, you know, like to fulfill my purpose.
Yeah, and you're in your 30s, so I'm curious, at what age did all this start? when did Felipe become the seeker of wisdom and inspiration?
After I moved to Rio, yes. So it's been 3 years and a half now. Yes, because exactly what I told you. I always had an amazing relationship with my parents. My mom is listening to me, or my, and of course I had space in my house, but being alone and to grow up, to being a bit forced, like to grow up, really started to ignite a lot of ideas in my head. Because, well, sometimes you gotta do things on your own, right? And you don't have mama or daddy around you to solve everything. I still have great support from them, but on my daily basis, I gotta figure things out. So, and I need to um, structure myself to solve whatever I have to solve on my own. So I guess it really started around 3 years and a half ago.
3.5. That's not a long time. But I'm curious, why was that important to do? I mean, not everybody in their 30s needs to have this awakening. So what was it about that period of time that made it essential for you to do that? You could have done what other girls do and just hang out, have fun, go out and meet people. And you're in Rio of all places, so I'm sure there's no shortage of a good time. But what happened? Why did you decide that that was important? Why?
I guess I realized we are not here on a ride. I mean, it might be fun and we got to take it easy, but we are here for a special purpose. We all are, you know, and to have this sense gives me a responsibility to do the best that I can to those around me. And if I can be like this connection, or if I can be this positive influence, or if I can say something or do something that has an impact in this world that is so hard today, I'm gonna do it. It's kind of hard to change the whole world at one time. We can't do that, but I'm pretty sure we can do the difference in our inner circle. And I have, of course, especially last year, for example, we have this apprentice program in the hotel. And one of the lawyers that supports us, like on the hotel matters, said she has a very strong story with dealing with young people and teaching them like human rights and citizenship. And she said, well, Felipe, I would love to teach them that. Can I have an hour with them like once a month so I can give them a class? I said, oh my God, of course. And I attend these classes as well. Not only to observe them, but to nurture myself because she's a big inspiration for me. And the main thing that connected this citizenship, human rights course last year for our little, well, apprentices was if you have the ability to perform or to do the difference in your inner circle, do it. And if we all do that, I don't even have to tell you how crazy the world is right now, right? So let's try to make it easier, lighter. Life is so beautiful. I mean, you know.
You said something to me earlier before we actually started this program about how hard life can be in Brazil, right? And
Yeah.
how hard your parents worked. Tell us a little bit more about that. I'd love for you to share that with the others. That was really poignant what you said.
So okay, I'm gonna really try not to cry right now. But this I was lucky enough to have examples in my house. So my parents, as I said, as I mentioned earlier, they worked hard the entire life, and we don't have that much. But what we have is really special. And the example came from inside my house. I was lucky enough to see. And the context around here might be very difficult. Well, the a political scenario, the economical scenario, the daily struggle that people usually have around here to reach their offices or to go to their jobs or, like the public services. I'm not saying it's hell, but it's not organized at all. And I guess, and that's what I try to think about the employees, the people that I interact with. Sometimes people get buses and they take 2 hours to get here and they need to perform, right? So the context around us might be a little difficult, but why not then being this person to inspire them or to be kind to them, to try to balance it a little bit. And my parents were these people that, against all odds, they stayed positive and they worked hard and they really tried their best to give what we needed. So I guess where this is where we are right now. And me and my sister, we are lucky enough to have them around to say, you know what, thank you. After this trip, the last trip that you mentioned, I came back to them. I said, you know, like, thank you very much. You did a good job. I'm an honest person. Whenever I had to go through customs, immigration, you know, well, I'm Latino. I was traveling alone. People were always, you know, like, oh, but show me your documents. Do this, do that. I was okay because I knew I'm a honest person, and I owe that to them.
Mm.
And again, on these, bringing a little bit back to our daily routine and to my job, um, we have a lot of challenges here around us. And if we made it through here, let's do it right. Let's enjoy it. And again, it's not perfect. I have my moments. I have my 5 minute breakdowns. But you know, let's try. Let's try. We are all trying, and we should do that.
I love that. And I also want to take advantage of the moment to say muito obrigada to your family for who you got to be and who you are for everybody else in the world because of their model, because of their how they raised you. So very, very nice. I have one more question, and then I'm going to open up the line so that those of you who are enjoying Felipe and his passion have an opportunity to ask questions or make comments. So start preparing. If you're interested in saying something, you can hit *9 and that'll raise your hand, or you can use the hand raise icon on Zoom so you have the opportunity to be called on. I'll call on you, and then I'll unmute you so that you can share. Before we get to that, so start thinking of your questions or your comments for Felipe. Felipe, you mentioned something because you said the context in life in Brazil might look difficult, right? That there are people who actually have to travel for 2 hours just to get to work. And you said something about performing, right? That they now, not performing in the sense that they now have to put their best foot forward for the customer that they're serving. They have to make the best meal they can with their tools and the skills. They have to make the beds and clean the rooms and set up the banquets, all of those things, right? That performance. But you said something interesting about how to be kind so that you give them that fuel, right? That you balance it out. Talk a little bit about kindness and what is it about kindness that makes the difference?
And usually when we are rushed, we don't pay much attention to all those little beautiful opportunities that we have to be kind to others. And I think it's so important to find time, right? And to be honest, but to find time. So it happens a lot that people come to me and say, well, Felipe, can I go to your office later? I need to talk to you. And to be honest, well, of course you can. It's going to be my pleasure, but maybe this afternoon is going to be really hard for me. Until what time are you going to be here in the hotel? Or is that urgent, or can you come later? Because tomorrow morning I'll be at my office and then I'll be able to give you more attention. Again, to greet people, to wish them a happy birthday, to say hello, or in my role as a human resources training development manager, to provide the minimum to provide really whatever might be basic so they can have a good routine. So to make sure we have great and healthy meals for our employees, to make sure they have a clean bathroom to go to whenever they need, or to inspire maybe this feedback culture or this I was talking the other day about having hard conversations. Sometimes we gotta have crucial, not hard, crucial conversations. And to inspire my peers to do that with their teams, you know, this is really basic. And it's all connected to kindness in a way, because it's going to have an impact in their lives.
Mm. And I think that's fascinating. And so what you're pointing to really is that it's simple things, right? Granted, you have to have a great environment so that people, that doesn't become something difficult or unpleasant, right? So you create an environment where things are pleasant and easy to access, and that creates the first layer. But it sounds like what you also are really mindful about is that you listen and you let people know that you see them, that they are meaningful, that they're important, that they're valued, and that enables others to serve, right? So your way of serving is by helping people feel seen, and therefore
Yes,
you can help others.
I would say that, yes, because exactly, this is really the point, to make them feel seen. It's terrible. I feel terrible whenever I don't feel seen, or when I'm ignored, or when a person doesn't even answer me or greet me back. It makes me feel, like I'm a human being as well. And if I'm able to do that and to make people feel that way, I mean, in this positive way, make them feel, just knowledgeable, saying this is so important. And yes, it doesn't take much, For if I there are tons of interactions where people, I don't know, for example, they talk me about their kids. And oh, so what are their names? Oh, his name is, I don't know, like John. Okay. 3 days later, I go to this person. Oh, how's John doing? And you see that the person really, he remembers my son's names. Like he was listening to me. These little things cause such an impact, and we all can do those little things on our daily.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm curious. First of all, does your mom speak English?
She does, and no, very, very, very little.
Very little. Maybe you can help translate, because I am curious about what Felipe was like as a child. That you turned out to be such a generous human being. And so I don't know if your mother's still on the line with us.
Yes.
Yes. Señora Ferreira.
Mãe, você consegue falar?
Is it Dorasi? Is that her name?
Yes. Can you unmute her?
Yes, I'm unmuting her right now. We'd love to hear about what Felipe was like as a child, that he grew up to be such a generous human being.
Mãe, você está ouvindo?
Sim.
Tá. A Valerie perguntou, ela queria que você contasse um pouquinho como eu era quando eu era criança, ou a educação, enfim, como era o nosso ambiente, para que eu pudesse virar a pessoa que eu sou hoje.
Em português.
Sim, depois eu ajudo a traduzir.
Você nasceu do DIU, né? Que não estava nos nossos planos, mas foi o maior presente que Deus podia me dar. Eu me emociono muito sempre que eu falo disso, porque desde bebê você foi uma criança muito doce, muito calma, e eu sou super orgulhosa de ser sua mãe. Eu trabalhava muito, mas eu acho que quando estávamos juntos, eu acho que Eu tentei dar o meu melhor, passar meus valores, né? Principalmente em respeito ao ser humano. E eu fico muito feliz que eu vejo muito isso em você. O respeito que você tem pelo ser humano, o cuidado que você tem com o outro. Isso é a melhor coisa, assim, que eu me orgulho demais, me emociono e agradeço a Deus todo dia por ter você. E eu acho que a educação em casa, a nossa educação, né, que nós tentamos passar para vocês, foi honestidade, respeito ao próximo, e eu sempre me baseei muito no amor. Eu acho que quando você faz as coisas por amor, mesmo quando você erra, você acerta. Então é isso, você sempre foi uma doce criatura. Tem a nossa musiquinha que fala que você é um anjo que caiu do céu, uma, uma luz na minha vida, e é isso. Sou muito grata a Deus por ter você, muito orgulhosa de ser sua mãe.
Ai, obrigado, mãe.
Obrigada, mãe.
Ah, estou muito emocionada.
Yes. Muito obrigada.
Obrigada a
Felipe, tell us
você.
what your mother shared.
Yeah, so she mentioned a couple of things about, well, I wasn't expected really. I was like an accident. Yeah. So my mom was not, like expect or plan to be pregnant, and then I came. So, but she said I used to be a very calm child, a very caring and loving child. And although she worked very hard, and I usually say that, she was in the peak of her career when we were growing up. And yeah, she still is up to this day a human resources manager. And she would tell us stories about how she dealt with her employees, her staff members, and they were all example for us. And she said, well, she always tried, although she worked very hard, the time that we spent together was quality time, and she tried to, like give these examples and to pass love and to honesty, respect, and she's proud of the respect for the human beings that she was able to develop in us. Thank you, Mom.
Yes. Oh, that was so wonderful. I'm glad that your mom was here to share that. Now, I'd love to also open up to anyone that's on the line right now. What are you hearing, Felipe, that's moving you or that is inspiring to you? Or perhaps how do you find inspiration in your own life? Love to hear from some of you, so you can use the hand raising tool. So that way I know you'd like to make a comment, and I'll unmute you. And I'm not afraid to call on some people. Felipe, if you tell me who you think you'd like to hear from, I can also do that too, since I think there's a lot of people that are on here because of your relationship and your impact on them. Who should we call on, Felipe?
It's funny because we have people on the call from different parts of my life. So Denise met me very early in my life. Elvira is a good friend living in Spain right now. She might talk a little about as well. I don't know.
Let's go with Denise first. All right. So Denise, what are you hearing? Tell us things that you've heard or you inspired by our friend here, Felipe. And if you have a camera that you can put your image on, that would be really helpful so that we can see your face.
Okay. Hi. How are you?
Welcome.
Thank you. I think I met him so early. I know him since he was just what was that? It was say that trainee. I'm not sure. Intern, yeah. And I think he learned a lot. We had we spent a lot of time together when we were together. And I learned a lot with him, and I think we changed a lot. We exchanged a lot of experience.
So,
And, yeah.
Denise, what do you do to stay inspired? I know Felipe gave us his list of activities. What about for you? What do you do?
I try not to stay like down with negative things.
Yeah.
Because I think this is contagious, and I don't think it's good. So, yeah, I think that's it.
That's it.
I try to be inspired by people like Felipe said, like Michelle Obama and you said, my gosh, I forgot her name.
Giselle?
Yeah, people like them.
Oh, fantastic. Well, very good. Thank you, Denise.
Thank
For
you.
sharing. All right. I think. Did you have something else, Denise?
No, I just think since the beginning he's been always a positive person. That's it.
Yay! He absolutely is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So part of this program, or part of this podcast, is to give not only a platform for Felipe to share about his life and what he's uncovered, what's been important to him, but also for those of you who are listening in and participating to really start looking for yourselves where you come alive. Or maybe there's an area that you would like to see come alive that hasn't quite gotten there yet. Right? This isn't just because you've made it and you've achieved it that you share. Sometimes the process and the journey is an important one to share. So I would love to hear from someone who's on the journey right now, whether or not you've reached the destination that you love or you feel that has been fulfilling. Love to hear from someone that might be willing to share with us what the journey's been like. If you do, please raise your hand with hitting *9 on your phone or the hand icon on your computer, or unmute yourself. You can also unmute yourself and make your comment. While you all are thinking, I'm going to call on a buddy of mine here. I think he knows that I'm going to call on him because I see him smiling. Senor Irving, I would love to hear what you're getting from this conversation so far, or what your journey's been in being inspired. And here, I will unmute you, Irving.
Yes, perfect.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I knew it was me. I knew it was me, and actually, I just want to say, Felipe, I love Brazil. I really love it. Brazil is, I spent like 2 years living in Sao Paulo and also in Rio. I'm a former telecommunication engineer, and I worked a lot over there. So yeah, I love Brazil. I know exactly how it feels waking up in Rio de Janeiro and spend a day in visiting Pau de Açúcar and all these amazing places. So yeah. Okay, well, I also have a very interesting journey, and you remember, Valerie, we had this conversation a couple of months ago. I'm a former business professional. I'm from Mexico. I work in very good companies, and I had let's say, I built a very nice career and there, and suddenly I decided to make a change. 2 years ago, I just woke up and I was like, okay, this is enough for me. I am very well paid. I have a very successful career here, but I don't like this environment. I don't like this industry anymore. I need to do something completely different. So I started to check for options, and I made a big change. I made a big change in my career. I switched industries, I switched countries, language. I moved to Dallas. I live in Dallas currently. When I moved here, I didn't have any friends. I just brought my cat with me, and I started from scratch in a travel agency. I'm a travel agent now. And I decided this because I had a lot of experience traveling. And I was like, well, I can help to do something to help people to get to places. I can provide some advice. I can provide some information. I can help anyone to make a change or build a memory in their lives. So yeah, it's hard. I mean, I can tell it's hard. In 2 years, I had a chance to build some very solid network of friends. I'm still not getting there because, you know, it's a new business, a new industry, a new everything. But it's very comforting helping people, and I really relate with Felipe. It's just the details. When you have a customer that is coming back from the vacations and you make a call and say, okay, how it was? Did you enjoy this? Did you enjoy that? Did you receive the flowers I sent you? Did you remember when you say that? What do you think about this, etc.? And it's amazing how these little details change the life of someone. Absolutely. And those little details are really, I will say it again, but they really change the life or the experience about anything. So it's now, well, going back to the initial question, how do I keep myself motivated? Well, I'm alive. I live, you know, Dallas. Dallas is amazing. Dallas is a very nice city. The weather is, well, not now. The weather is not fantastic today, but the weather is amazing here. The people is fantastic. And my family, even though I'm not close to them, my family, my mom, my mother, my brothers, and my friends are in Mexico. I feel how daily they are helping me and sending me words, encouraging me, pushing me to be in the right spot. And I hear music. I love music. I read a lot. I love reading. I see a lot of movies. I try to connect and be educating myself with information. And again, my previous business life has helped me a lot to stay focused on something and not lose the sight of my goals.
That's
so
awesome.
It's an amazing experience what I'm having now. I think the road has been difficult, yes. I learned a lot, yes. I think that my growth as professional and as a person has been amazing, and I'm prepared for what is coming for me. I mean, I told you once, and we had this conversation, when you have a plan, and this is just like an advice from me, if you have a plan and you are you really believe that you want to be, that plan is part of what you really want in life, and you're completely sure that you can achieve it, go for it, and do yourself a favor, don't have a plan B. Because if you have plan B, you sometimes trick your mind and you start saying, oh, if I don't succeed in this, if I fail on this, I may have like the chance to come back and do this. No, don't do that to yourself. Go all for it. Do whatever you need to fix and to achieve your dreams and your goals. Of course, it has to be a realistic dream. If my goal is to be a part of the Bolshoi, in the Bolshoi, I will not succeed because I cannot dance, of course. But you need to be very realistic with that. So all that kind of things keeps you motivated, and I really encourage you to go for your dreams and go for it. Go all for it.
I love what you said, Irving. I think don't forget the plan B. Except I think this is interesting, is maybe a little play on words. Based on what Felipe said, Felipe, you shared, you also started taking some actions when you became clearer about who you wanted to be. So when you said you want to be healthy, when you said you wanted to be curious, like all of those words of who we get to be also inform what we do. I think to build on what Irving said, when we get attached, I'm going to use the word attached. I don't want to say stuck, but we're attached. We're so convinced that this is the plan. This is the life for me. This is what I want to accomplish. This is the relationship I want. This is the job I want. This is the experience I want. When we get attached, we often forget that we need to be the type of person that would attract that experience, that would attract that relationship, that would attract that opportunity. And I work with a lot of clients who are in a transition because just like you, Irving, they found they're not fulfilled by whatever work they're doing or whatever life they have. And one of the first things that we always work on is, okay, who are you being? You know, are you being curious? Are you being courageous? You know, Irving, you pointed to how you had to be courageous to have the kind of life that you have now, to explore the type of opportunities that you're exploring now. So there's a way that if we could fine-tune and be mindful of who we're being in life, then we will attract the circumstances, situations, opportunities, right? So we have a couple more minutes left, but I want to go back to Felipe a little bit. I see you nodding your head a lot. So Felipe, tell us a little bit more about what's next for you. Who is it that you want to continue to be, or how would you like for that to be expressed in your life?
Yeah, thank you, Irving, for that. And I want to build up on that a little because I read in one of those books that I mentioned before, it was on Giselle Bündchen's book. She said, do you ever thank the universe for being alive? And that's exactly what he told, like, we are alive. We have so many people in the world right now that would love to have something to worry about, you know, someone to care about. Or even they might be in hospitals right now and they're not feeling anything. At least we are feeling, we are alive, and we gotta make it count. So I really believe in that, and I wanna continue. Well, as we said, I'm not there yet. We are on our journeys, but I wanna continue to be this person who is aware of the signs or of the good things that might come my way so I can make the most out of them. And if I can be this person that brings everyone together or that sparks joy in a nice way or in a positive way, this is the person that I want to be.
I love that. And I don't know if we talked about this already. I don't think so. I think you and I talked about it separately, Felipe, but this idea of what inspires other people is not what we're doing, is not what we own and what we have, is not anything tangible. What inspires other people is our being inspired. Like when you think about how inspired, when you're feeling inspired, if somebody has, you know, maybe you read a book that you loved and you come and share what you learned and how emotional or how impactful that book was for you. What inspires me is not the book, because I didn't obviously read it. What inspired me is who you're being about sharing yourself and what you learned about the book. And so I think the last thing to leave you guys all with is to find ways to nurture that inspiration within yourself. As you heard, I think from Felipe mostly is, this is an opportunity that we all have to live a life that's meaningful, a life that's impactful. It's so important that we have the opportunity to express our full range of ourselves. So if there's something that's getting in the way of you expressing yourself fully in your life, then that's an area that you need to address so that you're able to then access that inspiration. And by inspiring ourselves, we also, fortunately, have the impact of inspiring others. I'm so thrilled, Felipe, to have you as a friend and a confidant, and you and I spend a lot of hours. I will say you're one of the people, I don't know if I've shared this with you, but a couple of years ago, is it a couple of years? Yeah, it's been a couple of years now. I remember when I was first envisioning what my life would look like in my career, and the idea of being a coach and the idea of being a professional speaker came to mind, that would be something that I would do outside of a corporation, that I would do it on my own. I created a list of people that I thought would be great to reach out to so I can continue to expand and practice my skill and my impact. And you emailed me. I literally had this thought and I put this idea together and I started making my list. And within a week, you and I hadn't spoken in months, maybe even longer at that point. And you sent me an email. It couldn't have been better time. And you said, hey, I'm looking at some things differently in my career. I really appreciate your coaching. would you mind coaching me? And I was like, of course I have to coach Felipe. He's the one. And ever since then, I think our relationship has just continued to expand. And I so appreciate that you give me an opportunity to use my gifts and to share those, and that you share yours with me as well. And I really appreciate everything that you shared today. Felipe did a wonderful job. So 3, I'd love for everybody, because I know you have a big support system here on the call. I'd love for you all to unmute yourself and say your congratulations or your thank yous to Felipe. Everybody go 1, 2, 3. You can unmute yourself and say
congratulations.
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 Esperar. E aí eu tenho que mudar alguns nomes daquela lista.
All right. Wonderful. So I'm going to mute everybody again. All right. And just wanted to end by saying thank you again. Muito obrigada, Felipe, for everything. Join us next time. Next week, we'll have my friend, Jens Trumpa, who will be talking about, he's a realtor. He lives in Oregon. I've known him for several years. He's going to talk about courage as well, and how to continue to engage life with courage, and some of the things that he's learned. And that's going to be next week on May 14th. Feel free to join us. I'll be posting this video on social media in the next couple of days, so feel free to watch it again if you haven't had an opportunity to finish watching it, and share it with your friends. Anyone that's looking for inspiration, everyone that wants a path to knowing how to inspire themselves needs to listen to this. All right, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Ciao.
Thank you. Obrigado, gente.